and welcome to the Slow Crafting Podcast. My name's Nadine and I'm coming to you today from the northwest of England near Manchester. Now, normally my first video of the year is a roundup of everything I accomplished the year before and setting out my plans for the year ahead, but 2020 was what it was and didn't really get as much achieved as I do in other years for many reasons, coronavirus being the main one, and 2021 is not quite shaping up like I thought it was. So all my plans of incorporating slow crafting and slow living into my crafting life, sewing, spinning, knitting, crochet, the whole shebang, could be just a little bit of a jumble this year, but I have made some plans, so I will go through those at a later time. However, my recording schedule, which I was planning on getting back to every 2 weeks, may be a little bit disjointed at the minute because in the UK, where I am, we're back to homeschooling children again, so we're in our third lockdown phase and the schools have closed for the second time. So I'm spending most of my week now teaching my 7-year-old and my 6-year-old everything that they need to know for their respective years at school, which is not quite as fun as it was over the nice weather in the first lockdown, because we're stuck inside hiding from the cold and the rain rather than being able to do lessons in the garden, but never mind. Right, so my plan had been to go through what I wanted to make over the sort of next 12 months or so. However, I think I will just go through some of my vague plans for what I want to do at some point this year, at some point in the future. But I'll talk through that in a minute. And also, like I said, my recording schedule plan was to record every 2 weeks. We'll see how that goes. Yes, and I'd planned on getting more patterns out this year as well. Obviously that's not going to happen because I wanted to do one per month for this year. But no, that's not going to happen. So instead of getting upset about it, I decided that some of my older patterns, which were only available via my blog, I'm converting those to PDF files and I will upload those to both Ravelry and Love Knitting, or Love Crafting websites, but I'll let you know when I've done that, to make those more readily available and hopefully more accessible. Now, those will be free patterns because all my earlier patterns were free, and I think as well, I think I've only got 2 paid for patterns at the minute, and I think this month I'll just set those to free as well because everybody needs something to cheer them up at the minute. But yes, apologies for coming to you dressed in my gardening clothes with no makeup on and possibly brushed hair, possibly not. But yes, you see all the clutter behind me as well. Just angle that slightly. Right, so I'll get on and I'll talk you through some vague plans that I had for the rest of this year at some point, world situations allowing. Okay, my plans for 2021, pretty much plans for 2020 just picked up again. I thought there was no point in setting any fancy new plans because who knows what's going to happen. So I've got 3 main areas I wanted to cover. Unfinished objects, gaps in my wardrobe, and new skills or new crafts I'd like to try. Okay, so unfinished objects is very similar to last year, because I don't think I actually got that many on my list finished. So I've got my Fair Isle cross stitch, my green spinning that I've got 500 grams of, some more spinning tasks, knitting on a maroon waistcoat for my other half, a jumper for my brother, a jumper for me. I included an enchanted mesa on there. Haven't actually started one, so I don't know why I put it on, but never mind. A couple of designs that I was working on, so the butterfly shawl, the double knitting hat and the linen stitch tie, a purple dress for the sewing that I started probably about 13 years ago now, maybe even longer, so it probably won't fit, but it needs taking out and working on, I think, at some point this year. A Christmas present that I started for my children just before Christmas but didn't get finished, so that's another sewing project to finish. Other sewing projects are the quilt that's been in progress for about 10 years. I'm hoping to give that to one of my children this year for Christmas. And a crochet blanket that I started for my mum over the summer this year. So I think that's most of the unfinished objects. When I go through my bags and things where all my knitting and sewing projects are scattered about, I will probably find several more that I'd forgotten all about, but they're the main ones for now. Right. Gaps in my wardrobe. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this because it's mainly in pencil, but I've split it down into 5 key areas: tops, jumpers and cardigans, skirts and trousers, accessories and outerwear. Now these are things that I would like to make. I decided not to work on whole outfits like I have done in previous years, because I've got quite a few items of handmade clothing now, so I felt I needed to just concentrate on the gaps that were in my wardrobe. Oh, 6th, but I've not done that in pen yet. Underwear. Right, so in jumpers and cardigans, I decided I needed more long sleeve jumpers, because I've got a lot that are 3/4 length sleeves, and when it's cold, my arms get cold. So I want some long, quite loose fitting long sleeve jumpers. I want another long cardigan, and I've got a pattern in mind for that I bought last year. More tank tops, because they're tank tops or knitted waistcoats. I don't know if you call them tank tops in America. I think you probably, what we call vests, I think you call a tank top, and what you call a vest, we call a tank top. So if there's any confusion, I mean, yeah, something a bit like a knitted waistcoat. And then a fitted cropped cardigan would be quite useful. Right, skirts and trousers. I need more comfortable trousers. I don't know that I'm going to make those though. I might look out for trousers in charity shops, because as always I need to lose weight, and I'm not putting the effort into making a pair of trousers which might only fit me for a matter of months. Long skirts, some of them possibly knitted. Now I've got my knitting machine. I really want some dungarees. I don't know if they'll suit me, but I really want some. And some wrap over knee length skirts. Right, on to tops. I need some more vest tops and long t-shirts, because a lot of my t-shirts, I don't know whether it's just over time that they've shrunk and now seem to be somewhere up near my tummy button, but I need some longer ones that sort of sit at hip length, and some waistcoats of a sewn variety, not a knitted variety. Underwear, I need to make some knickers, some slips or some underskirts, and I want some stays, some 18th century stays, but that's a ideal project rather than a actually need. That's just a want. Okay, accessories. I need some more triangular shawls because I wear those a lot, even inside. Some mittens and some earrings. I need more dangly earrings in my life. And then outerwear, I would really like a nice jacket because I've got cagoules and wax jackets, which are sort of like knocking about clothes and allotmenting clothes, and I haven't got a nice sort of short fitted smart coat. So I'd quite like the idea of making a patchwork tamarack jacket. So there are all the things that I think would contribute and benefit my wardrobe. Right, and then the last section is I really want to learn some new things this year. I know lots of people in lockdown last year picked up new crafts and new skills, and because I was homeschooling the children, I didn't do as much of that as perhaps some people who didn't have small children to be teaching and running around after. But there are some skills certainly that I would like to start on improving or learning this year, and we'll see how far I get. So in terms of craft related projects, I'd really like to have a go at nail binding, tablet weaving, bobbin lace, fabric printing, Tunisian crochet, punch needle embroidery, whitework embroidery, sashiko, and learning how to make underwear. Now, for the majority of these, I have pretty much everything I need to have a go at it. I think the only one I don't is the punch needle embroidery. Everything else I either have the equipment for, or books about, or both. So that shouldn't be too much hard work, assuming I can find the time. And then in non-fibre craft related activity, illustration, hand lettering, bullet journaling. As you can see, I've made a start on that one, and I've become slightly obsessed with the Shada Campbell videos. Whether I'm doing any good at it, who knows, but it's working for me, and I'm really enjoying it. And at the moment I can't find much time for knitting or crafting, but spending 5 minutes just having a quick doodle seems to work, so I've already ticked that as started. Digital illustration and watercolours. Now sorry, the battery cut out there. Yeah, where was I? The digital illustration and the illustration and possibly the watercolours. I have a couple of specific reasons for wanting to try those. The watercolour and the illustration is for a project I want to work on for my mum for Mother's Day this year, which is in March. And then the digital illustration and the illustration in general will hopefully be something that I can employ in my pattern writing in future, or to just make my knitting and crochet patterns look that bit more interesting and pretty, because at the moment they just feel a bit bland, so I think just to pretty them up a little bit, that would be quite useful. So that just seemed like quite a lot now I'm going over it, which, given how this year's turning out so far, maybe a bit of a challenge. But like I say, I am not going to beat myself up about whether I achieve everything on my list, because I don't expect to. This is just an idea of a starting point of some of the things that I might like to attempt during this year, and we'll see how I get on. Right, so I'll try and get all these videos spliced together into some kind of coherent whole, and I will hopefully speak to you again in a couple of weeks, maybe even sooner, because I've been working on getting some of my PDF patterns, some of my blog patterns into PDF format, and I've already got an extra one uploaded onto Lovecrafts, and at the minute all my patterns on Lovecraft are set to free. I'll work on what's on my Ravelry at some point over the next couple of weeks. So yes, I will let you know what patterns have been uploaded to where in the next video. Alright then, I'll speak to you soon. Take care.